Hey guys, I'm IzDaisho and I'm here bringing you some of the new DLC. This is Up to Mischief, the Fairy deck, and it's a pretty cool one. I mean, it's definitely something that you don't usually see in duels. It's kind of tricky, and it's got some definitely cool plays that you can make, and I'm pretty excited for this deck. Hopefully it'll, I don't know, maybe make Magic Duels of Planeswalkers a little bit more interesting. But I'm going to briefly go through it. I haven't tested this deck at all. I just unlocked it and decided to jump in and make some changes to the deck list. But anyway, let's go ahead and go through it. So the first card is Fairy Imposter, and it is a 1 mana 2/1 flyer. So obviously when you see those stats, you're like, wait a second, something has to be going on here. And something is. I mean, when Fairy Imposter enters the battlefield, sacrifice unless you return another creature you control to its owner's hand. So basically, you play it and then you have to pick up one of your creatures. So it's not a turn 1 play, but it's a very strong turn 2 play if you can play like a Zephyr Sprite on turn 1 or something like that. And a lot of the times, as you're going to see, a lot of your fairies do have enter the battlefield effects. Not a lot, but a decent amount of them do. And being able to pick them up with something like Fairy Imposter and reuse them can be very, very useful. So Zephyr Sprite is just a 1/1 flyer for 1, which is not usually good enough, but you've got some Fairy Lords and a lot of things that count the number, or some things that count the number of fairies. So playing these 1/1s for 1 is actually okay. This is kind of a very tempo-y deck, and I think that Unsummon is going to be very good, just as it was with the other one. What's that deck called? The Lord of the Unreal deck, the Illusions one. Mind Maze, maybe? No, was that it? I don't know, whatever. The other mono blue deck, you could tell that the unsummons were very good in it, but it just really needed removal. And this is the same kind of thing. It's not hard removal, and you're not going to be able to kill your opponent's creatures with it, but sometimes you're going to be able to unsummon their things and then bounce them, and then counter them on the way down. I don't know. It's okay. Spell Stutter Sprite. This is one of the best cards in the deck, and I think it's going to be one of the coolest ones. But yeah, it's a flash flyer for 2 mana, and when it enters the battlefield, you counter target spell with converted mana cost X or less for X number of fairies you control. So the more fairies you control, the more things you can counter. Briarberry Cohort. It's basically just a 2/2 flyer for 2. Same kind of thing as Zephyr Sprite. Cheap fairy is very useful. Hoodwink is just another unsummon, but you can also return enchantments or artifacts, or even lands. Oh wait. This isn't creatures. Yeah, I don't want to play this card at all. Okay. I don't think I ever even read that card completely, I guess. Which card did I want to put in? There's definitely some cards that I took out that I was not very happy about. These, I actually really want to try these things out. As an additional cost to cast it, you return a creature to your hand, but usually that's not so bad for you. So, I don't know. I think I'll probably want to play both, and I might just take out a Briarberry Cohort instead. Okay. Scion of Una. This guy has flash. Almost all your creatures are flash, which is really cool, and it makes it really hard to play against because you don't know what your opponent could have at any moment. But anyway, it's a flash flyer. Other fairies you control get +1/+1, and other fairies you control have Shroud, so they can't target them. I messed up and I skipped one. This is Wasp Lancer. He's just a 3 mana 3/2, so he's okay. Actually, yeah, I'd rather take one of him out than a Briarberry Cohort. But Wasp Lancer is a fine card. I mean, a 3 mana 3/2 flyer is pretty powerful, so. Spirit Noble is a flyer, and other creatures with flying you control get +0/+1, and you can tap it to give your other creatures +1/+0, and most of your creatures are flying, or all your creatures are flying, I think. Vendalion Clique. This is one of the best, or the most powerful cards in the deck. It's a very, very powerful card in general, but it's 1 blue, and it is a flash flyer 3/1 though, and enters battlefield. You can look at a target player's hand. You may choose a non-land card from it. If you do, that player reveals a chosen card, puts it on the bottom of the library, then draws a card. So you can actually do this to yourself, which is kind of interesting. But I don't know. It's a pretty powerful card, so you should definitely look out for it. Pestermite, one of the best and coolest cards in the deck. That's going to be very, very useful. But 2 and a blue, flash flyer 2/1. Enters battlefield, you may tap or untap target permanent. Definitely notice that. And it's target permanent, so you can do lands and stuff. You can tap down one of their lands at the beginning of their turn. I don't know, there's just tons of stuff that you can do. Sower of Temptation, 2 blue flyer. When it enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature as long as it remains on the battlefield. So, very good card. Glenalandra Archmage, also a really cool card. You can sacrifice it to counter a non-creature spell, and it's got Persist. So you can basically sacrifice it twice to counter multiple non-creature spells. And then Sentinels of Glenalandra, and also one cool thing is that after it dies, before it dies the second time, you can return it back to your hand. So anyway, this guy's just a 2/3 flash flyer, and a lot of the times you're going to have lords out, so it's going to be bigger, and it's going to be able to eat their stuff. And then finally, Concentrate is the last card, draw 3 cards for 4 mana. So I have 8 4-drops, so I do want to hit my 4th land, but I still only decided to go with 23. 24 is probably smarter, but I don't know. I decided to be dumb today. So, yeah, that's going to be how I'm running the deck right now. I'm not saying that that's the best way to run the deck. You might want to run it a little bit more top-heavy. I mean, there is Una, Queen of the Fae, which is a very, very powerful 6-drop, and it's going to be a little too hard to explain, but it's basically just there are some powerful cards at the top end. There's also Sleep, which is a pretty good card in this kind of deck where you're like really trying to tempo them out, and that might be one that you're supposed to be playing. So he's playing first. I have a 1-drop. Honestly, I think I might mulligan this because I only have 2 lands and I don't have any fairy lords. I don't know. Maybe it should have been a keep. Oh my god, this hand is bad. I do have 2 concentrates though, so yeah, I'm gonna keep this one. Don't feel like going down to 6. I guess the first one would have been better. And he's got a Grim Lavamancer off the bat. So this is not going great. Okay, land. So I mean, we can cast our Concentrate on turn 4, but yeah, maybe I should have mulliganed this one too. I don't know. I mean, once I get to these things, hopefully it'll be okay. Got a couple of unsummons, so maybe I can slow my opponent down a little bit, but generally, this is not looking wonderful. Ugh. Okay. Not a great start. Not a great start to the fairy deck. The first one was definitely a keepable hand. I just felt like trying to find something better, and there were definitely flaws with it, so that's why I tossed it back. But alright, hopefully we can draw something here. My opponent still doesn't know what deck I'm playing. And I mean, like, for his information, I could be playing like I could be playing mono blue. I don't know. He might not have ever even seen this deck, so yeah, I'm gonna unsummon his Grim Lavamancer at end step so that he can't recast it this turn. I mean, I'm gonna have to discard cards anyway, so probably just gonna be discarding lands, but whatever. Make him cast that thing again and have Summoning Sickness. I don't care about taking the 1 damage though. Oh hey, we drew a 1-drop now. That's really useful. Alright, so I'm still gonna have to discard 1 card, but that's not a big deal. Okay, and we got some action now. We're good to go. None of them have flash though, which sucks. Gonna discard a land here, and we can start playing some spells out. So next turn I can play Wasp Lancer and Zephyr Sprite. Ooh, okay. So I'm probably gonna leave up an unsummon so that if he sacrifices that, then I can just unsummon my creature back to hand. And either way, I don't really have anything extra to do with my last mana. I mean, I could play the Fairy Imposter instead of the Zephyr Sprite, but that doesn't really help me that much. So, looks like, I mean, my opponent started this game off really slowly, so I might still be in it. But if he's got like an Inferno Titan here, then that would be very bad for me. But then again, he is playing Bloodfire Elemental, so he might not have all the cards. Or he might just be deciding to try it out. He could be an experienced player who's trying to find a better way to run that burn deck, because we've all seen so far that there are plenty of bad ways to run the burn deck. Not too many good ones. So, I mean, I would not be surprised to see him, yeah, just sacrifice and kill my Wasp Lancer. I'm just going to unsummon it. I don't really need to do this, but these unsummons are not going to be as good against my opponent's deck as they are in other kinds of matchups, but ugh, that's a really good one for him. And he's going to be able to play his Grim Lavamancer. So he's got 1 card in the graveyard, and he's going to be able to start activating that soon. But I've got another Concentrate, so I can draw some more cards. Alright, we're just going to play Wasp Lancer, Fairy Imposter, and then recast Zephyr Sprite. Obviously, you generally want to attack with your Zephyr Sprite first, but in this spot he's got a flyer that can just block it, so it would not make much sense. So I need to concentrate, draw some more cards. But it's going to be a really hard game to win considering he's got a Grim Lavamancer out. And if he's got any spells, then he can just like Searing Spear this and then activate Grim Lavamancer, kill this, and then all of a sudden I'm way, way down on cards. And he's going to play a Fire Servant here, which is pretty scary. I wonder if he's going to attack here. Probably not. But maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I would trade one of my guys for his Firewing Phoenix, even though he can go get it back. Alright, so he's not going to attack or anything. And there's a Glenalandra. That's a very good draw for me. So before I do that, I am going to attack him with, I guess just this, because I would like to leave this back to be able to block his Fire Servant here. Alright, so he's going to block, and he's going to get his value out of that. That's fine. I'm going to play Glenalandra here, and that should be pretty good for me. I mean, my opponent does have a lot of non-creature spells, so being able to pick off the next two can be really powerful. Especially when he's got a Fire Servant out, which normally would be really, really good in this spot, but in this situation, maybe not. Now all these lands are actually kind of helping me because next turn, no, no sir, that would be terrifying. Yeah. Concentrate is, I'm going to be able to draw 3 cards and still play a spell, so it should be pretty useful. Can't imagine him attacking here. He's out of mana, so he can't activate his Grim Lavamancer. Alright, there's a Fairy Imposter. So I'm going to go with Concentrate here first to draw some cards, see what we got going on here. And there's a Pestermite. Okay. Going to, I think, attack with everything here. And then I'm probably just going to return Glenalandra to my hand. And then on his turn, I'm going to play my Pestermite to tap down his 4/3, I think. Getting Glenalandra back in hand means that he can't pick it off with his Grim Lavamancer because he now has 2 things in the graveyard. But the problem is that now I can't kill something if he's got another important spell. Okay, so I mean, that's going to happen. There's not really much I can do about that one. But before combat, I'm going to flash in this Pestermite. But since he did that, he couldn't play his Firewing Phoenix, so that's pretty good for me. He's got another Grim Lavamancer, but that's not so good here. That's actually really bad. Okay, so we're going to tap that down, and we're going to be able to hit him for another 5 damage next turn. I'd like to tap this card, actually, believe it or not. I'm going to be able to hit him for another 5, take him down to 10. That's not a great draw. And we're doing some work here. I mean, he's got another... he's got a Firewing Phoenix, but I mean, with both of these 2 flyers, I actually have a ton of flying power on the board right now. It's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9 power. Trying to decide if I'm going to just take the damage from the Fire Servant here. What are you doing, dude? I have Glenalandra. I think that actually is just going to win me the game here. Because I can just activate Glenalandra's ability, sacrifice it, and counter his spell, persist back, and then he can't play his Firewing Phoenix because that costs 5 mana. So maybe he's got a land, I don't know. Alright, so he's attacking with Grim Lavamancer, which is pretty good for me because I can flash this guy in and then just eat the Grim Lavamancer. I guess it's okay, it's not great because he's gonna be able to activate his other Grim Lavamancer. So maybe I shouldn't even do that, but I mean, he's gonna be able to activate the Grim Lavamancer eventually. It just means that I won't be able to do some extra damage. He's probably gonna kill this thing if he's smart. Next play. But yeah, we're okay here. Come on, good draw, good draw, good draw. This guy gives all my other fairies +1/+1, which will be enough to entrap, but will be enough to take care of my opponent here. Hit him for exactly 10, and yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be tricky, counter his spells and stuff, and I mean, even though I got off to a really slow start, I think that's kind of what the fairy deck wants to be doing. I'm not sure how I did not unlock a card. I'm going to go find a new opponent. My opponent was okay, but not necessarily the best player. But yeah, I'll be back once I get a game. So yeah, see you soon. Hey guys, I am IzDaisho, and I'm here with another game. Sounds okay, but I'm actually going to go for another one. Alright. This one is kind of exactly what I wanted from the first hand. I have a 1-drop into a 2-drop into a 3-drop Lord. The first one, I know the hand looks similar, but I didn't have a 2-drop, so that's a lot worse. And I did not have a Lord, so that makes it a lot worse. Is this thing flash? No, no flash? Come on. That's pathetic. I guess it's not really like a fairy Lord, it's just kind of like a Lord. Alright, so this thing has Shroud. And whenever you cast an enchantment, draw a card. So I want to have to go, I can't talk anymore. But I want to have to kill him really quickly this game. I am going to have to kill him really quickly this game. Why can't I talk, man? Alright. And yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and play the Briarberry Cohort. And I'm not sure if playing Spirit Noble or Pestermite first is better. So I think I'm probably just going to save Pestermite just because it has more adaptations. Okay, so this guy's just a 0-2. And he's getting ready to draw some cards. Give him that. But I don't think that deck has too many interactive spells, so it might be okay. I'm going to just play this guy. It doesn't do anything on offense until I tap it, but it should be okay still. And my opponent definitely doesn't have any damage spells in green-white, so. Argothian Enchantress. Just giving my opponent the beatdowns here. Probably going to play... Ooh, there's a Rancor. Draw a couple of cards off that. Not bad, not bad. Don't really care if he attacks me for 2 here, but the card draw is going to be scary because he can get his combos off, and I don't know exactly what he does, but it is sad. There's another Concentrate, so that's good. And right here, I think I'm just going to attack with all my creatures. Play a Zephyr Sprite, and then I'll probably tap one of his lands. I mean, I don't care about taking the 2 damage. I want to play with Pestermite anyway, and if I can tap one of his lands, then he can't play a 5-drop this turn, so doesn't really, I don't think it matters which one, but yeah, I'm going to tap this actually, surprisingly enough. Alright, so this is whenever it dies. Okay. Well, next turn I can actually hit him for a lot of damage. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can actually take him to 1, and if I draw a Lord here, it's going to be game over. Did not draw a Lord. But I think I want to leave that up. Just in case he does find a way to kill his own creature, I can play that at end step. And other creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 until... Yeah, so I can play this thing at end step, and then I'll have lethal on board, even if he finds a way to exile all creatures or something like that. So, I mean, he could have it at instant speed, I guess, but I don't really know how he's going to kill this thing. And this is... Okay, that's fine. As long as he doesn't have any lifelink or anything like that, I should be okay. Did he just attack me with a 0-1? Yeah. Okay, he's done. He was just like, you know what? I'm gonna attack here. Obviously, I'm not gonna block the Rancor thing. I'm just gonna kill the Enchantress here. But that was definitely some quick beatdowns. I mean, just curving out into creatures. I mean, I tapped all my mana every turn this game. So that's all you really need to do with this kind of deck. And there we go. We got there. Managed to win 2 really interesting games. I mean, not really interesting, but they showed kind of how the deck works. The first one was like really aggressive, and the second one was really controlling. I think that's going to be it for today's video, but you'll probably see some more of this. I mean, I did enjoy playing, and I think that you guys will enjoy watching this deck. So thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a wonderful day. Bye.